guys, it's Rachel. So I had to actually split my favourites for the month of January because I was just going way too long and I didn't have time to fit in my random favourites. So I thought I would start a second video with my other favourites, so people who are just interested in those types of things could watch this video and check out what music, TV show and book favourites that I've been loving for the month of January. So without further ado, let's jump into them. So for music favourites, it's pretty much the exact same as I was loving last month. The only song that I have to add to that is This Woman's Work, and it's a cover by Greg Laswell, I think it is. It was featured in the, I think it was somewhere around like maybe like the 9th episode of season 3 of the Vampire Diaries. And I love that song and I love his cover of it, so I highly recommend checking that out. And then moving on to TV favourites, speaking of the Vampire Diaries, I've been loving the Vampire Diaries. I've caught up, so I'm now in line with the States. I've been watching that online. I've been loving the Vampire Diaries, I've been loving The Secret Circle, I've been loving Revenge. I love Revenge, it's amazing. I've been loving Heart of Dixie, Grey's Anatomy, and Jane by Design. I started watching that by recommendation of one of my followers, one of my friends, somebody on Twitter I think was talking to me about that, so thank you. I have been loving that show also. In terms of favourite apps, I'm still loving Tiny Tower. I think I'm up to 34 levels and I have 50 bitsons and I'm still addicted. The other thing that I'm addicted to is playing Uno on my iPhone. I love it. I love the Uno app. I love Uno in general, but being able to play it on my phone is highly convenient, so I've been addicted to playing Uno. And then last but not least, my book favourites. I have a ton of book favourites for you guys, and I've been making, or I've started to make book videos, so if you are interested in reading and love books, then I'll put the link to my vlog channel in the bottom bar below. It's always there. Go subscribe to that channel because that is where I post the videos. I posted my first book video the other day on one of, I think it's probably my all-time, not necessarily my all-time favourite book because I love a lot of books, but it is the one book that definitely changed my life. It is the one book that I am most passionate about, and that is 13 Reasons Why. So I'll put a link to that video there so you guys can watch my little video, even though it wasn't little, it was actually quite long. I think it went for about 20 minutes because that's how much I wanted to talk about that book. But I highly recommend that book if you haven't read it, and check out that video if you want to hear a little bit more about that book. Moving on, favourite books. I read all 3 books of the Hunger Games trilogy in the second, I think it was the second weekend of January. I love them. I think my next book video, or one of them coming up, will be on this series. I love them, read them, embrace them. That is all I'm going to say on them because they're amazing and I think they are fantastic, and I highly recommend anybody of any age should read those books. My mum read them and loved them, so if you're older and think that you don't need to read them because they're young adult books, you will still love them even if you're older. Other books that I've been loving for adult readers are the Victoria Dahl book, Real Men Will. It is the 3rd book of a series. The first one is Good Girls Don't, and the second one is Bad Boys Do. I loved all 3 of those books. I've read other things by Victoria Dahl and I absolutely loved them, so I highly recommend checking out that author if you're interested in sort of romance novels. The other book for, I guess, older people is also Jill Shalvis, Head Over Heels. This is the 3rd book in a series that I've also mentioned before. The first one was Simply Irresistible, and the second one was The Sweetest Thing. I loved all of them in the Lucky Harper novels, and there's actually going to be more of them, so I'm really excited because I really love these books. And again, I highly recommend Jill Shalvis. I love a lot of her books. Probably my favourite, I guess, older romance novel books are actually by her. It's the Sky High Air series, and I highly recommend checking them out if you like those kind of books. Moving on to young adult books that I've been loving, there are quite a few. I won't go into detail about each one, but I do recommend checking them out, and like I said, subscribe to my vlog channel and I will do longer reviews and talk more about these books and book club videos and stuff like that. First one I have here is by Chelsea Fine, and it is the book Anew. This is the first book of the Archers of Avalon series. I really liked it. It's kind of it has a supernatural twist to it if you guys really like that kind of thing. But I definitely recommend checking this out because it's not like your common everyday vampires, werewolves kind of book. It is actually really good, and I really liked her other book, which was Sophie and Carter, and I think I mentioned that before. And just on a side note, she is really nice. I've spoken to the author Chelsea Fine actually on Twitter, and it's really nice knowing that the authors of the books that you actually really enjoy are also really nice also, so I recommend checking that one out. The next one that I have here in my list is Existence by Abbi Glines. And I've read other books from her. I really, really loved Breathe, and I really, really loved The Vincent Boys, both of which I think have been in past favourites videos. This one is sort of the first book in a, again, paranormal series, and I really, really enjoyed it, so I recommend checking that one out. Other books, Moving Neutral by Katy Atlas. I read this one really, really recently. Absolutely loved it. Highly recommend checking it out. I also read The One That I Want by Jennifer Echols. I really like this book. Jennifer Echols has some books that she calls romantic comedies and some that she calls, I guess, romantic dramas. The romantic dramas are for slightly older audience, and then the romantic comedies, I guess, are slightly younger. This is one of the romantic comedies. I've read her other ones and I really enjoyed it. I think I generally prefer her romantic dramas a little bit more, maybe because they are aimed at people slightly more older like my age, but I really did enjoy this book also. It was just light and fun and funny. And what else do I have? Is there anything else in this? Oh yes, another one that I want to recommend is the Unofficial Zack Warren Fan Club by JC Isabella. This one is like a self-published 99-cent book that you can get on the Amazon website and the Kindle bookstore. I highly recommend it. I absolutely loved this story, and for 99 cents it's an actual bargain. A lot of the books that I read are like self-published 99-cent ones, or even like they're only like $2.99 or something like that. And they're really, really good, so I recommend checking them out. Oh, and last but not least, I have Catching Jordan by, who's this, Miranda Kenneally. I really liked this book. Again, it's a young adult book, but it was light and kind of fun to read. So that is it. That is all my random favourites for the month of January. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know what non-makeup things you guys have been loving, because I'd love to hear that as well. If you guys have any book recommendations for me, please let me know, because I love reading, as you can tell by all my book favourites, so I'd love to hear that. Also, if you have any recommended TV shows for me, I love TV almost as much as I love reading, so I'd be happy to check them out also. And again, might as well, since we're on this track, tell me your song favourites as well, because I love finding new music. So I'm going to go. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys all next time. Bye!